Hey everyone, it's me, Yvonne Emil Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, and I am here with this full moon's update. And I want to apologize first and foremost. Beautiful people who take care of our landscaping are right outside, and they've been going back and forth on their, really cool doing the lawn. And this is the only time I can record the video today because I'm super busy, but I hope it doesn't interfere, and I hope that you can hear. And it doesn't, bother you all, which is very classic of the full moon that we are about to experience, because it is not just a full moon in Taurus, it is also an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. So I want to share with you what that could potentially mean, how it can manifest, and give you some ideas of how you can maneuver through this lunar eclipse energy. But first, I want to show you the chart, because this lunar eclipse occurs tomorrow morning on Friday. I think it's about 2:58 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And yes, so here we go. So now we have, again, this is Friday the 19th, and we have the moon here in Taurus. Okay, and then we have opposing the moon, obviously we have the sun in Scorpio. So this is the main energy that's going to manifest, but we also want to tap into a couple of other things that are going on in this chart. If you notice, there's a lot of these lines, right? And for me, that's a language. But so the moon is also, okay, still squaring, right, Jupiter. And we're going to talk about that. And then Jupiter is squaring the sun. Now, there's a couple of other components that are also important. There is a relatively close conjunction between the sun and Mercury opposing this moon. All right, so that's another aspect. So that's really what I want to focus on. We do have a really beautiful trine from Neptune and Pisces over to this Mercury. And so there's a lot of really good stuff going on here, but it's so much energy that it can all kind of get convoluted. So we have Uranus in Taurus, and it is trining that Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn is going to get ready to go retrograde here soon. We also have this, we talked about Jupiter. We also have Saturn still in a holdout with Uranus retrograde, and Saturn is in Aquarius, Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And then all of this is still squaring this Mars in Scorpio. So there is a lot of energy, as you can see from this chart, going on. But I want to simplify it, and I want to just make it as easy as possible. And I want to give you the major themes of what I think we might be seeing. Okay, so Taurus. Let's talk about Taurus, because we do have Uranus in Taurus. It's been transiting Taurus for, I think, three and a half years. Maybe it still has a good two and a half years left, and that Taurus energy is really going to be activated in this full moon, especially because it's an eclipse. So let's talk about the eclipse. We are starting a new 18-month cycle with the eclipse axis happening in Taurus and Scorpio. So the opposite end of the zodiac, right? So Taurus is Earth, and it's fixed Earth. And then Scorpio is water, deep well water, subconscious water, and it is also fixed. I'm going to tell you what that means in just a little bit, but we have this axis that's starting between these two opposing energies, and it's an 18-month cycle that we're going to see. So as we start eclipse season in new axis, okay, we also have a culminating of the previous axis. Okay, so now what we're doing is that we're moving from Gemini Sagittarius energy, which is, a lot of air and fire, and we're moving it over to Taurus, which is earth and water. All right, so the fixed signs, if you have a fixed sign, which would be the Taurus, would be Leo, would be Aquarius, and would be Scorpio. If you have your sun, moon, or rising sign these are probably going to you're probably going to feel this energy more so in your chart. But especially those people that are Taurus people. So Taurus, rising sun and moon, we're probably going to feel this a lot more. I'm Taurus rising, which means that this is happening in my first house. So again, all of this energy, you can really get the details of if you have a natal consultation and get to know your individual birth chart. But anyhow, beyond that, so let's talk about Taurus energy, because this energy this is what I feel from this eclipse, is that we're going to experience it individually, but we're also going to experience it collectively. Now, Taurus energy represents, in general terms, values. It represents resources. It represents comfort. It represents home and environment. It represents food. It represents that essence of being comfortable, okay? And so when this Taurus energy is activated, we're not only activating the Taurus energy, we're also activating that Uranus retrograde, which can create sudden changes or instability in these particular themes. So anything regarding resources, money is one of them, your value system, okay? All of these are going to be highlighted, and it's going to start an 18-month cycle of this theme. Now, on the opposite end of this, the axis opposing Taurus, that fixed Earth, we have this fixed water of Scorpio. Now, Scorpio energy is really about uncovering the truths. It likes to go in deep. It represents the subconscious. It's also, hey, those karmic patterns, those debts maybe that we need to really bring to our awareness. And so when we have this eclipse energy started on a mundane level, I would say, hey, you know what? We're probably going to experience issues or instability and anything related to, food, food. I got stuck on food. I'm Taurus rising. I love food. Okay. Food or money. Okay. Right now, at least here in the States, we're experiencing this sense of inflation, right? And gas prices are skyrocketing. And so all of this relates to value of money. And so we're going to see this instability. And this is just the beginning, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? I mean, some of the challenges, or the way I approach challenge is, if you know it's coming, you prepare for it, and then you make a conscious effort to learn from it or to grow from it. And that's really what this eclipse is really asking you. It's asking you to take a look at what you are valuing. Okay, there's a difference between Taurus energy that needs resources versus wants resources. So right now, it's about asking yourself and looking deep within that Scorpio water and saying, okay, what do I really need versus what do I really want? And how do I want to approach these 18 months coming up? Do I want to approach them, not being aware of my resources, or maybe not being aware of my own personal values, or maybe not being aware of, where I am comfortable and maybe those boundaries that I need to set, versus just kind of going, hey, I want this, and let's just shop on Amazon and let me order it, tarot cards and oracle cards and crystals, which I have a habit of doing. This is really a time that the universe is asking you, let's be consciously aware of how you're using your resources. Take a look at the food that you're eating. Take a look at your body. Taurus represents the body. What are you putting into the body? What needs to be released from the body? And it's not just the physical body, it's the emotional body, the mental body, the causal body, okay, the spiritual body, for example. It's about what needs to be released. This is a really good time to do that inner work. And so this 18-month cycle, right, is really going to be pinging this Taurus Scorpio energy for the next 18 months. Now, here's the little, maybe the lower polarity of both signs, is that they are both fixed signs. And what I mean by that is that they do not move very easily. I don't know about you, but a Taurus is a bit stubborn, okay? And it takes us a while to get going, Okay, and we eventually, get there, but do not tell us how to do things and do not tell us when to do things, because we will never do it. We will just dig our heels in. And it's the same energy with Scorpio water. But Scorpio water is about emotion, right? So don't you dare tell Scorpio how they feel, because they're going to sting you. And if you don't, keep that sense of loyalty, which is fixity, right? Scorpios like to hold on to their friends. They like to hold on to their comfort zone, their people, and it can turn into obsession very easily. But that's the kind of energy that we're working with. This is a time where there's a lot of fixed energy that's going to come up. We're going to, there's a difference between saying this is my opinion versus this is fact, right? So my opinion is I personally like the color red. Yeah, okay. But then I would say red is the best favorite color ever. Okay, there's a difference, right? So the other thing that you're being asked to do during this eclipse is be very mindful of how you're tapping into that fixed energy, okay? Fixed energy can keep us blocked. It can keep us from growing. It can keep us stagnant. So the whole idea is to look beyond and say, where are, my belief systems, my value systems, and where am I fixed in them, and how can I move beyond that fixity? Okay, so that's the majority of what I feel this eclipse is going to be asking you to do. There's a lot of additional energy. We still have Uranus retrograde squaring that Saturn, Uranus in Taurus, okay, and it's all about the comfort and the people and the land. And now we have that Saturn energy in Aquarius about, hey, you can't move into the future until you take care of all of the ground stuff, the physical manifestation of Taurus. And so once you set the foundation, which is what Taurus is, then Saturn will say, okay, see ya, you can go, you can progress, you can move on. But then that Saturn is squaring Mars in Scorpio as well, and Mars is at home in Scorpio. And so there's that need for wanting to move forward and wanting to do things now, and Saturn saying, nope, you have to set a good foundation, and then trying to rush to get a good foundation. And it's just, so what we want to do is we want to stop and we want to really evaluate how we are approaching ourselves, mostly because it's Taurus energy, ourselves, our sense of, our body, okay, all of our physical, like I mentioned, all our causal body, and then just really being mindful of where you need to shift from being super fixed, okay, to being, a little bit more open or more flexible in your perspective. So I will give you an example. This is hitting my first house of self, and I'm a Taurus rising, and then I have Venus, Moon, Sun, Mercury, and my midheaven in Capricorn. So I'm a lot of earth energy, okay? And Taurus going through my first house, I've been like, I feel so good. I don't have to be all earth, even though I still am, but some people may not experience it like this. When that Taurus energy gets hit, it can be very uncomfortable at first. So wherever Taurus is in your chart, you just want to be more mindful of that. For example, my daughter, she has Taurus in the 11th. And so there's been sudden shakeups, that have been happening with her friends, and she doesn't feel comfortable with that. There was plans that were, that they had, and the plans suddenly changed out of the blue. And so that kind of threw her off kilter. And that's the same kind of thing that can happen with this Uranus energy. So be prepared. You may run into the bzz, bzz, bzz of, Uranus, and then, yeah, you're stuck with, oops, nobody told me. Yeah, I just told you. Okay. So what do you do in those cases? Tap into Scorpio energy, dig into the subconscious. Why are you being triggered so much? Why is this change in Taurus, the physicalness of life, which is what Taurus represents? Why are you being so triggered by it? Good question. There's also a lot of opportunity to tap into spirituality and creativity. We do have that Capricorn Venus. Capricorn Venus is usually more practical in nature, okay? But and let me just check how that is. Yep, because she's trining that Uranus energy. So this might be a time where you change and you focus on like your value system, right? Changing your value system, which is what the eclipse is also asking you to do. It's about looking at how you're approaching love or how you're approaching connection. Venus in Capricorn can be very practical, as I said. She can be rather distant, rather cold, maybe just a little friendly, okay? But when she gets together with Uranus, there's a sensitivity that happens that says, I really want to open up to different experiences. So that might be something that, that you tap into, especially if you have Capricorn Venus. And then the other aspect that I really wanted to tap into here is that, I don't have my glasses on, so you're gonna have to bear with me. 2020, yes, is that sense of Neptune energy in Pisces, and it's connecting in a trine, water energy again, with Mars and Mercury, okay? And so when Neptune and Mercury get together, they can be a huge upsurge of creativity, imagination, really clear, concise thinking. And Neptune isn't about clear thinking, but when Mercury gets together with Neptune, it's all of a sudden like you have this inspiration and the clarity happens. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I should do. And you find creative ways to approach things. It's also maybe the truth finder in the moment. And I feel that's also what we're going to see with this eclipse here in the next 18 months or so, with the axis being pinged. It's about finding the truth, digging down underneath that well, that Scorpio energy, and then bringing it to the physical manifestation, which is that Taurus energy. Now, this full moon, okay, the eclipse, the axis itself pings for the next 18 months, but this lunar eclipse energy is really going to start showing up within the next 6 months. Okay, this that occurs in Taurus is going to start showing up here in the next 6 months. So start planning for that as well. On December 4th, I think it is, I have to look at my astrology, but December 4th or so, we're going to have a solar eclipse, because once we have a lunar eclipse, 2 weeks later, we have a solar eclipse. When we have a solar eclipse, 2 weeks later, we have a lunar eclipse. But this solar eclipse coming up in December is going to ping the Gemini Sagittarius axis. Okay, and that's going to be a culmination of that. And I will talk about that later. But this lunar eclipse in Taurus opposing Scorpio. Yep, get ready, guys. It is a lot of intense fixed energy. And I really wish I could say, wow, it's going to get so much better from here. But you saw the chart. There's a lot going on. So if you want to learn more about your astrology, please reach out. I'm at Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, and I would love to chit chat astrology with you. It's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world, even more than reading books. All right, take care, everyone. Set your intentions. Okay, be prepared. This happens tomorrow morning, 2:58 a.m. on Friday, the 19th. I don't remember if I said that at the beginning of the video, but I just want to make sure I say it again. And yeah, that's it. Take care, everyone. Blessed be.